Hello guys, this is Sonu, and from today onward I am going to discuss about very important topic, that is the vitamins. As we all know that vitamins is a very important molecule for the healthy human and for the other living organism as well as. That's why we must know about the all thing about the vitamins function and everything. So first of all, what is the vitamins? Vitamins, it is the chemically unrelated organic compound that it not synthesized in adequate quantities by the human. That's why it must support, or we can say must take by the diet. Or we can say that vitamins, we can describe that vital plus amine. So vital means it must require the vitamins, and this is the amine group, so vitamins, like that we can understand. As we all know that it's divided into big subgroup, that is the fat soluble and water soluble. In the fat soluble we have four vitamins A, D, K, E, and the water soluble we have two main huge group. First is the vitamin B complex, that is the vitamin B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9 and 12. And along with the vitamin B complex we have vitamin C, that is also known as ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid. So first we'll try to discuss about the fat soluble, and in the fat soluble we'll discuss first A, then D, then K and then E. Then we'll further move about the water soluble. So let's discuss about the vitamin A. Actually vitamin A also we can say retinoic acid. Retinoic acid. In the vitamin D, cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol, or also we can say arbocalciferol. It's come by the plant. Vitamin K is the phyloquinone, and the vitamin E is the tocopherol. That is the potent antioxidant properties. So let's move on the vitamin A, and then we'll discuss another vitamins. Vitamin A, according to the structurally, is further divided into three parts. Retinol, then retinal, and then retinoic acid. Retinoic acid. Don't confuse with the spelling. The two are the different. Retinol, OL, and the retinal, that is the AL. So retinol, it is the actually in the, if you talk about the structure, talk about the main chemistry. So for example, this is the vitamin structure. This is not correct structure. So in the last part they add alcohol. So we can say that is the retinol. In this another one is add aldehyde. So retinal. And the last one add COOH. That is the carboxylic group. That's why name retinoic acid. So according to IPUC name, you can say nomenclature in the chemistry, but that like that they named. So retinol, retinal, and retinoic acid, vitamin A, and another one that is the provitamin, or we can say precursor of the vitamin A. That is the beta carotene. Beta carotene. 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 So these are the provitamin A which come from the plant, and the retinol which come from the animal source. So this according to the chemical structure, this information that you should know. Now we'll discuss about some reactions about the retinol. So retinol, actually retinol, by the oxidation it become retinal. So by the oxidation it convert retinol to the retinal, and the retinal again by the oxidation retinoic acid will form. Retinoic acid. So this reaction from the retinol by the oxidation, it will convert retinol, and again by the oxidation it will convert retinoic acid. But retinol and retinol, it has interconversion properties. Means it can be convert retinol to the again retinol to the retinol. But in one time it will be convert, if like from the retinol it convert retinoic acid. Retinoic acid will not take part in the interconversion. It convert means that's it. So this from the there it can be reconvert or we can interconvertible. And these two vitamins, that is the retinol and retinol, it take part in the main function. That is the main function, reproductive, vision, immunity, and maintain epithelium. We can say we have a lot of functions. We'll discuss about the function, but these are the main important function to take the like the reproductive vision, immunity, and they maintain the epithelium. That is the main function which by the retinol and retinol, the both can be maintain this function. But if you talk about the retinoic acid will not take part in the all function. It just in a immunity and maintain epithelium. So we can understand that any person or any other living organism who have not these two vitamins, part of this vitamin A, they have just retinoic acid. So they will not take part or will not maintain the reproductive system and vision system. They will just maintain immunity and maintenance and maintain the epithelium. It means those organism or those living organism will have deficiency of the reproduction as well as vision. Maybe some human person also who have deficiency of the retinol and retinol because they don't have any oxidation or oxidation, maybe oxidation problem. So they will just as retinoic acid. So those person will suffering from immunity, reproductive pathology, reproductive abnormalities, and vision abnormalities. That is this reaction we have to know. Now let's move on about the first important thing, that absorb, that how it will be absorbed and how it will be stored in the liver and then will release in the target organ. So absorb, as we know that from the GIT. So let's take, this is the GIT, that is the mucous membrane of the GIT that has absorbed duodenum. And then after the absorption it should be go in a blood, that's why this is the blood vessels, and then after the blood it will go in a liver. So this is the liver. Let's, for example, we have two types of vitamins, retinol and provitamin, that is the beta carotene. Means either we can take from the animal source, either we can take from the plant source. So in a plant source, actually it has double A. Double A means retinol and retinol. They both vitamins, the structure of the both vitamins it has, and retinol obviously, retinol is vitamin A. So let's first discuss about the retinol. The person will take retinol. The retinol also known retinol ester. Why the ester? Because it has long fatty acid. That's why the name is retinol ester. So for example, by the A we can represent that it has retinol ester or even all vitamin. So vitamin has long fatty acid. This line is the long fatty acid. But the long fatty acid will not absorb in the and will not go in the blood. That's why the long fatty acid should be removed. How it will be removed? By the enzyme, because enzyme will hydrolyze. So which enzyme in the GIT? That enzyme is the pancreatic enzyme. So pancreatic enzyme will hydrolyze. Even it's a fat soluble vitamin. So for the absorption of the vitamin, we need bile. Without bile, because bile is emulsify the fat. So bile and the pancreatic juice, all types of juices which help to the absorption of the fat that need. The same thing here. So pancreatic enzyme will destroy the long chain fatty acid, or we can say will remove the long chain fatty acid. That is the pancreatic enzyme. So you can remember. So a retinol will absorb in the mucus, in the GIT. Another source, that is the beta carotene, that is the plant source. So beta carotene will not any have long chain fatty acid, so here no need any pancreatic enzyme. It will direct absorb in the GIT without any problem, and it will absorb. So beta carotene has retinol and retinol, the both form, but eventually after the absorption it will again convert to the retinol. Means finally absorption is a retinol, both in a beta carotene and as well as plant source and animal cells. Both are eventually will convert in a retinol. After the retinol, it should be go in the liver. So one protein, that is the lipoprotein containing molecule, that is the chylomicron. So the name is chylomicron. Chylomicron is the lipid containing protein, or lipid protein containing. It has a lot of triglyceride, cholesterol and some other protein. And the main function of the chylomicron, from the intestine, whatever the protein, whatever the lipid substances, it has to we can say transfer from the intestine to other organs. The main function of the chylomicron. Here the same function is doing, that chylomicron will take the retinol, but before the taking, it will again re-esterified the long chain fatty acid. Once it's absorbed in the GIT, but before the absorption by the pancreatic enzyme, it will destroy or will remove the long chain fatty acid. But once it's absorbed, and before the we can say binding the chylomicron for the transporting of the vitamin A, it will again re-esterify the long chain fatty acid. So before the going blood, this is the chylomicron, this is the A. So it will again re-esterify the long chain fatty acid, and the chylomicron by the lymphatic system it go in the blood, and by the blood it will go in the liver. So finally the retinol, that is the vitamin A, is reached in the liver, and in the liver again it will be separated the long chain fatty acid, and pure retinol will absorb in the liver, or we can say store in the liver, rather absorb, because absorb in the here. After the store in the liver, whenever the need our human body vitamin A, whenever it will release the vitamin A. For example, release here, and this is the epithelium, or we can say target tissue, and the target tissue have a special protein binding. This is the retinol binding protein. So retinol binding protein present in the everywhere where the vitamin have to go. So retinol will go and bind this vitamin, and then it will be go inside the cell, and then it's further move the function and start the function. So this is our main, how it will be take, how it will be absorbed, and then by what way, by what transport mechanism it will absorb in the liver or store in the liver, and then how it will be released in the target tissue. Now we'll discuss that, as we know that the main function of our vitamin A, that is the vision function and some other epithelium function. So let's first discuss about the vision, and then we'll discuss about the other epithelium, and then further move. So So let's discuss about, first of all, vision. As we know that in an eye we have two types of cell, that is the rod and cones, which maintain over the dim light and colorful light and every light. So this is the rod and cone cell. For example, this is the our retinol binding protein. So even we can say cellular retinol binding protein because it's a cell. So retinol will go inside by this binding, and once retinol reach, retinol, as I said, that by the oxidation it become retinal. But here node will convert again by the oxidation retinoic acid. Retinoic acid which convert in the other cell, that is the epithelium, all types of epithelium, but except visual, rod and cones. So retinol will further convert in the this two. This is the, also we can say 11 trans retinoic acid or retinoic acid. Trans and sins, you can remember from the chemistry, that is the trans and cis. So the structure of the trans, for the understanding purpose, just I am drawing hypothetically that, for example, this is the trans, this straight line, that is the trans, and this is the curved line, that is the cis. So by there you can understand. So these two are the straight line according to the structure. If you see the structure, you see the 11 trans retinoic acid, the straight line, and the whenever it will be converted in a 11 cis retinoic acid, it become curved, the structure become rotate, and inside the cell, rod and cone cell have secrete or synthesize a special protein. That protein name is the opsin. So whenever 11 cis retinoic acid will convert from the retinal and opsin becomes synthesized from the rod and cone cell, it combine with opsin, and the two molecule name is the rhodopsin. So 11 cis retinoic acid plus opsin, the two are rhodopsin. And what is the main function of the rhodopsin? See, for example, the light is coming here. This is the light. Any light is coming here, and light is going on the rhodopsin. So what is the doing the rhodopsin? Rhodopsin is, we can say, once the light is go in the rhodopsin, and whenever the any lights will fire, or we can say just like the fire in the rhodopsin, it will start the action potential. It will generate the action potential and the stimulate, or we can say by the optic nerve it send the signal. So for example, let's take that this is the optic nerve. This is the optic nerve, and the optic nerve will further combine attach with the occipital lobe, which are our part of the brain. So once the light will go, and once the rhodopsin will receive the light, it will stimulate the action potential, and it will capture the image, or we can say store the image, or just we can say stimulate the generate the action potential, and it's send the signal by the optic nerve, and then we can see that this is the any object, or this is the any color. So the same rhodopsin is doing whenever light is come. Rhodopsin, or we can understand that, for example, this is the just imagine that this is the our vitamins, and rhodopsin is like that bind here, something like that, for the understanding purpose. Just think hypothetically. So this is the ball, it is rhodopsin. So once the light is go here, it will go away, or it will fall, and during the falling it will start the action potential and send the signal by the optic nerve, that then you can see that any object is there. And after that it will again go in the 11 cis retinoic acid, and then again it will bind the opsin, then again will rhodopsin will synthesize, and means the 11 cis retinoic acid plus opsin will the rhodopsin, and then again will light is coming, the same thing is doing, and then will again do the resynthesize of the 11 cis retinoic acid. So these are the main function of the that how we see that how we need for the any object to see vitamin A, that without vitamin A, like how lack of the vision is occur. Why the main reason that if you will not take vitamin A in adequate amount, so less retinol will come in the rod and cones, and then less retinol will convert, then less retinol will less convert 11 cis retinoic acid plus opsin, then rhodopsin will lack of the rhodopsin, and then finally it will not create, it will not generate action potential, so by the optic nerve will not go signal and we can't see, or lack of the vision will appear. So these are the main we can say that mechanism that how for the by the help of vitamin A how we will see, we are seeing. Now we'll discuss about other cell, that how other cells perform vitamin A for the growth. And for example, this is the any another epithelium cell. So the same thing, retinol binding protein, cellular retinol binding protein, once retinol will come, retinol will further oxidizing retinal, and then retinal will further oxidize, that is the retinoic acid. So retinoic acid will not this molecule will not see in a rod and cone cell, except in the rod and cone cell that there is the 11 cis retinoic acid, but here is the retinoic acid in except the rod and cones. So and the retinoic acid will go in the nucleus, that is the gene is there, and then they express the gene, and then gene will they're doing the function that it's replicate, it's the maintain the lining and everything during the replication. So this is about the another cell except the rod and cone cell. Now we'll discuss about that what is the function of the vitamin A. Then we can identify, or we can say that what could be the deficiency if the person will stop the taking the vitamin A. So function. First function, as I said, the vision, then immunity, reproductive, and maintain epithelial, growth. These four are the main function of the vitamin A, but except these four, some other function also, that in the reproductive system, actually in the reproductive system in the male, it's a maintain the germinal layer, that is the maintain for the spermatogenesis. In the female, during the pregnancy, it maintain the placental, because in a hypovitaminosis can also lead to teratogenic effect, or either in a hypervitaminosis it also lead to the teratogenic effect. That's why dose should be in a normal amount, in therapeutic amount should be take the pregnant lady. So where the reproductive system during the in very long time can lead to the anemia. I mean the it should be, we can say, in a function in a blood formation, because the vitamin A also the mobilization of the some irons and some other important molecule which help to synthesize the blood from the bone marrow. That's why during the blood formation the vitamin A also need, and even some other lot of biochemical reaction vitamin A play several very important role. That's why vitamin A is very important. So during the blood formation, and as I said, that vision, immunity, reproductive, maintain the epithelial growth and blood formation, and some other important function which have to take part in the vitamin A. So these are the main important function. Now we'll discuss about that deficiency. So the main function of vision, so obviously lack of the vision. Lack of the vision. But in a prolonged, we can say in a long time deficiency of the vitamin A or lack of the vitamin A, it also maintain the epithelial growth. And as we said that all types of mucus production which play a role by the epithelium, and if the epithelium become interruption or epithelium become injured, it will not secrete the mucus or any other anti-inflammatory molecule. That mucus is a play role is a very, we can say, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial role that are maintained or prevent by a lot of microorganisms, a lot of bacteria, and a lot of dust particle. So lack of the vision, and due to the prolonged use, prolonged deficiency of the vitamin A lead to dryness of the eye. Why dryness of the eye? Because our eye is producing tear, and tear, it is the, we can say, anti-inflammatory. Lot of bacteria, lot of microorganism try to enter the eye or try to injure the eye, but due to tear, tear is destroy them, destroy this bacteria, those microorganisms who want to harmful or who want to harming our eye. So due to lack of the tear production, it lead to the dryness. So dryness. And even in critical condition, even in the long time, after 1 or 2 months, even in 3 months, 4 months, you will not start to take the vitamin A or will not start to treatment of the lack of the vitamin A. It lead to ulceration formation. Ulceration appear due to keratinization. What is the keratinization? Keratinization means, we can say that it's formation of the keratin, and keratin, just like this is the cell, this is the cell, and the keratin is protect, or we can say completely bind of the cell, or we can say the protection of the water. So without water, is if the any cells or any living organism without water, it will be dryness. The same thing here, due to the dryness, due to the keratinization, dryness is appeared due to the keratinization. So due to the keratinization, the ulceration formation, because a lot of bacteria will attack due to the dryness, and bacteria will perform the ulceration, and the ulceration appear, and once the ulceration will appear in the cornea, the cornea become degenerative, degeneration of the cornea, and eventually finally destroy the cornea, and that is the called keratomalacia. Keratomalacia. Keratomalacia will be developed. And during the clinical diagnosis, you can suspect that in the cornea, that is a triangular shape, whitish layer are appear. That is whitish layer called bitotes layer. So bitotes, you can diagnosis, during the diagnosis you can suspect that bitosis means whitish triangular shape, whitish layer in the cornea, means the person have lack of vitamin or suffering from vitamin deficiency. So this thing, then infertility can be developed, or sterility, infertility. Why? Because the reproductive function. So lack of the reproductive function, because lack of the vitamin, infertility can be developed. After that, as a blood formation said, so anemia can be developed. Why? Because but it's a very rare or very prolonged use. Then also lack of vitamin, kidney stone can be developed. After that, retinol binding protein, the concentration or we can say number of the retinol binding protein also decrease due to the lack of vitamin A. And as I said that due to the lack of vitamin A, it's a interruption of the epithelium growth. And as we know that in the respiratory tract, in the we can say urinary tract, reproductive tract, and a lot of our human organs, visceral organs, has epithelial, a lot of big role of the epithelial tissue. So they will also interrupt, and they will also start deficiency, and the person will suffering from a lot of problem. So those things you have to also think, or you have to also mention. So these are the main function and deficiency. Now we'll discuss about that what could be the source, that from where, which types of food we can take a good amount of vitamin A. Vitamin A also role in the cardiovascular system because it has antioxidant property. So those persons suffering from cardiovascular disease, and along with the cardiovascular disease, if they will they have lack of vitamin A, so maybe the cardiovascular problem will be increased because of the lack of vitamin A. So that thing you also remember. And also it has an anti-cancer properties. So during the, even in any person suffering from cancer, if the lack of vitamin A, the cancer will be very increased, and the person become, even they will allow 1 year, so in 6 months they will die if the vitamin will be a lack in the body. So this is additional information that we have to know. Now we'll discuss about the source of vitamin A. First, if we talk about animal source, that is the retinol. Again, I'm repeating that don't confuse with the retinol and retinol. Retinol OL, that is the alcohol group. Retinol, it is the aldehyde group, and retinoic acid, that is the carboxylic, COOS, last part of the ad, that's why it's an acid form, acid group. So, and the main function of the vitamin A, that is the retinol and the retinoic acid. And the retinol and retinoic acid can be reconverted within the body. So animal source, it can be meat. In a meat can be liver and a lot of things which contain the vitamin A. So all types of meat. Then yogurt. After that, cod liver oil. That is the very rich vitamin A. Cod liver oil. Then fish, especially fresh fish. That is the rehu and katla. These two fish, which is very rich amount of the vitamin A. So fish. And then so on. But these four is a very important, very rich amount of the vitamin A. But if you talk about the plant source, that is the beta carotene, plant source. Plant source means, first of all types of green vegetable. Then orange vegetable. And the carrot, beta carotene. So from the carotene you can remember that carrot has lot of rich amount of the vitamin A. So you must eat the carrot. Orange, and even in algae, but algae we can't eat, but you have to know that algae has also vitamin A. Orange, green vegetable, then even this, because in a green vegetable, orange, a lot of vegetable and fruits will be there. So just you can shortcut, you can understand that all types of orange fruits, orange vegetable and green vegetable, very rich amount of the vitamin A. So these are the source. By the diet, by the amount of how you will take or what amount you should take. So first of all, you should know that normal amount, 20 to 60 microgram per dl. This is the normal vitamin in a plasma level. So these are the normal vitamin level. If increase from this level, it is the hypervitaminosis. If decrease, hypovitaminosis. But if any patient who is suffering from lack of vitamin or hypovitaminosis, or we can see in a normal amount of diet. So for the adult person, 600 microgram per dl can be taken. This value is not exact value. In some books, some author will be different. Maybe some written 550 and 500. Maybe some written 650. It's not, doesn't matter. But approximately plus minus 100 and 200 You can suspect that these are the value. Even not like a 200, it's very less. So 650 or 550 doesn't matter. But in, for example, in a baby, it will need approximately 400 microgram per day. But in a pregnant lady, it can be 1000 microgram per day. But in some time maybe 950 or 900, because pregnant ladies need more vitamin due to the baby growth. But remember that if you increase the amount, it can be teratogenic effect. If decrease the amount, also teratogenic effect. So concentration mainly in a pregnant lady should be very, very carefully. Now I'll discuss about hypervitaminosis. That is the toxicity, because it is fat soluble, and as we know that if you give the excessive amount of fat, even not in the vitamins, in anything which are the fat, which belong to the fat soluble, it can be drug, it can be food, or it can be other molecule, because fat soluble, it is a lipid molecule. So lipid molecule means what? It will absorb in the adipose tissue where the fat is absorbing. So that's why it's absorbing the fat tissue. In a liver, so fatty liver will be generated in a adipose tissue, in a kidney, any adipose tissue can be absorbed. So hypervitaminosis. Hypervitaminosis. First, that dermatitis will happen. Dermatitis will occur. Dermatitis like dryness of the skin. Actually, in a hypovitaminosis, the again problem dryness of the skin. But what is the main reason? What is the main mechanism? We know already. But during the hypervitaminosis, the same thing again, dermatitis, dryness of the skin. But still unclear that what is the main mechanism. Then pain in the joint and skeletal muscles. After that, blurred vision, the same thing here, blurred vision. Then decalcification of a skeleton. And sometimes headache also. Then in kidney problem sometimes, because it's a fat soluble. And one bad thing also, that during the metabolization it will not excrete very fastly, it will take several times. That's why kidney pathology can be appear also. Then increased cranial pressure. But this is the main, we can't say that is the main typical diagnosis, because the cranial pressure increase in some other pathological condition also. But once whenever increase the cranial pressure, doctor, you will suspect that maybe it's due to the hypervitaminosis of the vitamin A. So once you will decrease the hypervitaminosis, means maintain the vitamin level, then it should be disappear. Means then you can suspect that is this increase the pressure by the hypervitaminosis. After that, one very important pathology will appear, that is the hepatomegaly. Hepatomegaly, because the storage of the vitamin A in a liver, approximately 90% are stored in the liver. That's why in a hyper cases, a lot of storage will be appear or will be there. So hepatomegaly, enlargement of the liver. So these are the main toxic or hypervitaminosis A for the vitamin A. So I think main information we already discussed, that how we will treat the person who suffering from lack of vitamin A, and increase the vitamin. Some other function, some other indication, we can say indication here, because this problem is additional supplement, we can say. You can heard about the acne vulgaris. This is the autoimmune disease. So this problem is appear in the skin, mainly in the face. So in acne, in the acne, we can treat by the vitamin A. But in a all trans retinoic acid, all trans retinol. So all trans retinol, all trans retinol by the topical form, not orally. If you give the all trans retinol orally, it's very toxic. So in a topical form, by the gel form, soft gel form, or by the cream form, we can apply in the where the acne is occur. Next, if you give orally, so we can't give trans, so we can give cis form. So that is the 13 cis retinol, 30 cis retinol, and the another name, that is the teratoion. That is the drug name, teratoion, or either 13,6 retinol. So these are the additional, we can say additional treatment of the vitamin A. Or also, as I said, in a cancer, it helps in the cancer. Those persons suffering from cancer, and they will taking in a normal amount, in a healthy amount of the vitamin A, maybe they will some relief of the cancer patient. So I think these are the main information about the vitamin A. Hope you will enjoy, or you will like our discussion about the vitamin A. In next time, we will try to discuss about the vitamin G. So till then, take care. Thank you so much.